Do you hear that, dog fans? Talking season is coming. And inevitably, there are going to be some lazy takes out there. We're going to talk about that tonight on this edition of the How About That Dogs Cast. The national football media, they just can't help themselves. It's time. We have to crank the engine for college football, and it's getting revved up. They're out there offering takes on who's the best at this, who can win it all, who is actually going to implode and fail. All of that's the kind of stuff that they're getting into. And some of the ones that get pointed at every year are the magazines, because we're getting into beach season and people are taking vacations. And what we love to do as college football fans is grab our favorite magazine, head out to the beach or head out on the deck if you're up in the mountains checking out, the nice cool temps to get away from some of this southern Georgia heat. And we like to flip through those magazines and see what people have to say. Well, for as long as I can remember, I've been reading Athlon Sports College Football Edition, sometimes more thoroughly than other years, if I'm being truthful. And one of the favorite things that I like to look at every year in that edition is the anonymous coaches. Because as reporters, you reach out to people and you can ask for comments off the record. You can ask for comments on background. You can ask for comments on the record or on the record anonymously. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it because people don't want to put their names to it, but they want to be able to talk about the other teams that they think they know a little something about. That's human nature. And this year, they did every SEC school just like always. The thing about it, though, is that I'm not concerned about the rest of them right now. The only one I'm concerned about is the Georgia Bulldogs. So what did this anonymous coach have to say, or coaches have to say about our Georgia Bulldogs? Well, let's take a look at it. This anonymous coach said, do they still have the depth that they had in 2020? I think the answer is that no. Those backups are third string guys. Well, they're playing for Missouri or Georgia Tech. I don't know that their process is the same. I don't know that their depth is the same. Are those elite programs getting any better? Probably not. They have a thinner margin for error. Well, welcome to the party, Captain Obvious. You don't need to be anonymously saying this kind of stuff. This is kind of like wasting your shot, right? Isn't that what Alexander Hamilton on Broadway said? They're like, Lin-Manuel Miranda said, don't throw away your shot, man. He just threw away his shot. You could have said anything you wanted to say about Georgia. You could have said that Kirby Smart is falling off the wagon. He is backsliding. He is not the coach he was. You could have said that, man, Georgia's throwing away this season by playing that Gunnar Stockton kid again. You could have said Georgia's defense is going to be better than the 2021 defense. You could have said anything. But instead, they towed the line and said exactly, essentially what I've been telling you for months. If you're watching the Georgia Bulldogs more than any other team, you know this already. If you watch college football, you know this. So, I mean, in fairness, he's only pointing out what is true, but that doesn't mean it's not lazy. That's what this take is. Do they still have the depth that they had in 2020? No, nobody does. But if you've been watching this channel and you have seen week after week how I lay it out for you and explain to you exactly why I think Georgia's in a different situation here in 2026 and why I think Georgia, relatively speaking, in this world of college football, is one of the deepest teams in college football, and how I think that that's going to be one of their biggest advantages here in 2026. You're looking at this and you're laughing. You're just LOLing all the way to the bank. Because this, man, it's lazy. Of course, I understand that Georgia's at the top of the heap, right? They're right there in the mix. They're going to be expected to make the college football playoff. They are a real contender to win the national championship. So I get the lens. The lens is, does it affect the elite teams? Are they the same? Because we all know that there's like 10 teams that can win the national title, maybe. I understand that in today's world, with college football and the portal and all that, you might have somebody jump up and win. You say, what about Indiana? Indiana was in the college football playoff the year before. So it's not like they hadn't been there. The fact that they got back in and won the thing this past season, okay, awesome. There's still only like 10 teams that can go win the national title. And I'm being generous. So again, this is just a lazy take. This is a take that any one of us in this conversation right now, we could have handed this take out. Just be better. That's all I'm saying. I think the answer to that is no. Okay, that's what we just said. Those backups and third string guys are playing for Missouri or Georgia Tech. Love the backhanded compliment or, shot at Georgia Tech right there. Love that. But again, not wrong. Why would a player choose to leave the University of Georgia and go play somewhere else? Overwhelmingly, the reason for that is not money, it's playing time. And if you can't get on the field at the University of Georgia, the next best option, go play somewhere else. But you don't want to go down to D2. You don't want to go to a small school, but you're not going to command a bunch of money to go to some national championship contender necessarily. That's okay. I can still go make a good living this season playing at Georgia Tech or playing at Missouri or playing at Arkansas. And this, do not mistake, is not me taking shots at those players. They're doing what's best for them in their view. Whether it's money or playing time, they're trying to position themselves better for the future. No problem. So this coach, again, not telling us anything that we don't know. I don't know that their process is the same. I actually had to laugh when I read this. Do you not know who Kirby Smart is? Have you not watched Georgia football over the last 10 years? If there is anything in Athens, it is structure. It is process. It's the damn foundation of the superstructure that I talk about all the time. I'm not sure who they're reaching out to here. I hope you're not paying them, because this is the kind of stuff, again, come talk to me. I'll let you know what's up. This is not breaking any ground. I don't know that their depth is the same. You're just saying what you already said. No, it's not the same. I'm telling you that everybody who knows anything about this sport understands that. But that doesn't mean that, relatively speaking, Georgia's depth is not better than most teams in the country. Talk about that, Anonymous. Talk about that, and then give me insight into why or why not that's the case. Are those elite programs, see Georgia, getting better? How do you measure better? Are they growing their team from January until September? Kirby would argue with you that they are getting better. Are they getting better through the lens of they're winning one more game each season in succession than they won the year before? Well, that's virtually nobody in college football. I mean, it's not the higher percentage. I guarantee you that. What's your measuring stick? What's your metric? They have a thinner margin for error. Don't we all? Every day. Me, you, the fans, the coaches, the teams, all of us. Come on, Anonymous. If you're going to talk, say something worth printing. And Athon, same goes for you. Ask a different question. Are you just taking whatever they, pull out of the cookie cutter here and just putting it in your magazine? You can be better. Be better. But it wasn't just this. They continued. They went on. Anonymous says they'll look really similar to how they looked this past season. I think they'll be a playoff team, but I don't know that they're an elite SEC team like the ones you saw in the early 2020s. What they seek to be offensively is don't blow the game. Let's run the ball. Let's let the quarterback get in a rhythm. Where to begin? They'll look similar to how they looked last year. That's by design. Good coaches take the players they have and they build their game plan around it. And oh, by the way, in case you didn't remember, all they did was go win the conference again in 2025. So you can throw rocks at that all you want. I think they'll be a playoff team, but I don't know that they're an elite SEC team like the ones you saw in the early 2020s. All right, so let's separate this out. Inside the conference, Georgia is the SEC. They are absolutely elite. The track record shows it. Consecutive SEC championship titles, 3 out of the last 4. The SEC runs through Athens, Georgia. Now, are you talking about nationally? They are not an elite SEC team as like they were in like the 2020 season with Alabama, the 2019 season with LSU, or the 21 and 22 Georgia Bulldogs, who were, by the way, the last SEC squads to win national championships. Who are you referring to? Are you referring to literally teams that are benchmarks in the history of college football with this statement? That's damn absurd. There are people arguing on the interwebs right now about whether or not 2019 LSU would beat 2021 or 2022 Georgia, or whether 2020 Alabama could tackle 2019 LSU. These are all timers. I guarantee you, any one of the last 3 national champions that happen to come from the Big Ten, none of them are in that conversation. Not Indiana, not Michigan, not Ohio State. Not all timers. They're not in it. So if you're asking if Georgia or any SEC team this year is on par with any of those 4 I just mentioned, that's a little ridiculous. What kind of standard are we talking about here? Nobody's going to meet that standard this season. It's not going to happen. The 2021 Georgia Bulldogs team has had 40 plus players drafted. The entire damn defense was drafted. No, this team is not that team. I mean, the takes that this coach is dropping out there are lily white soft, like just cloud comfort level soft. Be better. Take a shot, man. They say what they seek to be offensively is don't blow the game. Let's run the ball. What? Again, who do you think Georgia is? Have you met Kirby Smart? Have you studied him at all? This is who the man is. And yet you're out here talking about, well, they're being conservative. Again, you play to the guys you have. And once again, I'll remind you, those dudes are champions in what is absolutely the best conference, top to bottom, in all of college football. This is ridiculous, man. I love these segments, but come on. Come on here. I mean, he continued, their confidence in quarterback Gunnar Stockton throwing the ball down the field will determine how aggressive they are. Fair. But again, no new ground being broken here. Same discussion that was being had in December and January. Same thing I've been talking about since February. Gunnar Stockton must improve. Hell, I talked about it last week. Gunnar Stockton has to improve his game. Why? Because the margins are thinner. You have to be on point. You cannot beat yourself. You have to play good fundamental football, good complementary football. Again, I present to you the Georgia Bulldogs under Kirby Smart. It's just frustrating. As a journalist who's done this for more than a quarter century, it's just frustrating when the person that you reach out to for an anonymous take on what might be the best college football program and the best head coach in college football, and you go boilerplate, lazy. My daughters could give you that level breakdown. Quotes. Be better. That's all I'm saying. I'll tell you where we can be better. If you enjoy what we do over here on the channel, come be better with us over at How About Them Dogs Plus. Everything over there is elite, exclusive, and premium. If you enjoy what we're doing here and you want to get to the good stuff, head on over to Plus. We're waiting on you. The community will welcome you with open arms. I cannot wait to see you on the inside. It's not just anonymous coaches who are out there having their say about all of college football right now, including our Georgia Bulldogs. This week, Joel KLATT released his post-spring preseason top 25. Always fun to hear what KLATT has to say. May or may not agree, but he disappointed me as well. Let me read you this quote. This was from the YouTube video where he laid out his top 25 heading into the season. I believe he has Georgia at 5 right now. About Georgia, he asks, can you go and win a shootout? I don't know if they can, because the guys on the outside just don't scare you. You're not going to shut everybody out. You're not going to hold everybody under 24. Indiana, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon, they're going to be very good on offense. Very good. So what happens if one of those teams comes out and they score 31? If you're Georgia, you better be able to score 32. And the question is, do you have the playmakers on the outside to do that? Can you be explosive when you need it? Again, Joel's not wrong here in questioning, or rather parroting, the same questions that have been asked about Georgia since the end of this last season. But if you are the man on the Fox College football coverage, if you are the guy that they go to for an analysis, if you are the dude who is the analytical whiz on game day in the box in real time, named Joel KLATT, I just need something more from you. I need something more than this. People who watch this channel, you know very well that we've been talking about this since February. We've broken down potential breakout players, breakthrough players. We've talked endlessly about just because you don't know these dudes doesn't mean they can't play. Georgia, for whatever it's worth, given their long history of success, they looked at their wide receiver room and said, everybody else out here don't know them, but we feel pretty good about them. We maintained our roster. We invested in these dudes to keep them here. We see them run thousands of reps at practice, and we feel pretty good about them. But nobody wants to even take their pinky finger and scratch the surface just a little bit and say, maybe Kirby Smart and his staff know a little something about what they got. Instead, they just want to be like, boilerplate take. Georgia has no wide receivers. That's a down spot. They're going to struggle. Over and over and over. It's what you hear. Sometimes, and this pains me to say it, but sometimes there are people in positions like KLATT is in. Herb Street has done this before. Pick another national college football media person that comes into your mind right now. They're all guilty of it. And that is essentially stealing money. Because these, again, are the takes that people who watch this sport, who care about it, who love it, you are adding nothing to this conversation. You are really just providing a buttress, of an area of support for people to whatever position you took, whatever you stated, whatever generic thing you just said. If an individual out here who's a college football fan hears that, they're just going to be like, yep, see, Herb Street agrees with me. That's all you're doing. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need people to share you saying the same old drab-ass boring thing that people have been saying for months, just so you can get clicks and shares on social media. Maybe so you can get your son a job. Maybe because somebody you know is like, I just need content. It doesn't really matter. Just put your name on it. That may sound harsh, but I'm not backing away from what I said. In the whole of it all, I respect Joel Klatt's opinion. That's why statements like this, they just make me sad. Because we know that Georgia has players, but people don't know them. So on one hand, it's fair to point it out. Hey, we don't know these guys. But a real analysis of it would be to take it the next step and say, who are they? What are they? What would Kirby see in them? Why did Georgia not go in the portal? Go and figure that part out and then bring it back to the viewing public. Because if you do that, you're adding value. If you don't do that, you're just rubber stamping something for circulation on social media. That's where I'm at on it. That's why I will stand on a hill and die on it and tell you that if you have people who cover these teams locally, people who are in and around the programs, people who love these teams and universities, and you want to listen and get the real inside information about what's happening, then that's who you should be watching. The national guys, that's just noise. We just had an election day here in America. Statements like this are very much just like political noise during campaign season. None of it matters. That's what this is. And it just makes me sad. I just want people to have a little more, competitive energy and step to the microphone and bring a point that actually means something. Stop regurgitating the same lazy takes. And just because I talked about the local media who cover these teams, they're not exempt either. There's plenty of that at that level too. People who are just real comfortable. As for this show, as for this microphone, I hope that the reason you're choosing to watch me is because that's not what you get. I'm always trying to be straight with you about what you do get, but it's not boilerplate. It's not this. So again, I just want these guys to be better because we love the sport too much. We care about it too much, and we want real information. We do not want the same thing from 14 different talking heads who pop on the TV screen. People want to know, and again, I was in it for 25 years. I'm telling you that people in legacy media want to know, why is it that we're struggling so much to keep viewers on anything that's not live events? This episode is your example. Why do people come to YouTube and sources like this, like mine? Why do people trust the local beat writers more than they trust the national guys? Well, one, the beat writers should be better. But two, you get a different angle, a different flavor about your team when you're in it at this level. When you're at the national level, they're like, I don't have time. I've got 132 teams to, okay, just spare me. You are not looking at 132 teams. To make his top 25, KLATT looked at 35 teams. Maybe 40. And half of those, he's like, yeah, I know Ohio State. I covered them all last year. I know exactly who they are. So you can take the Big Ten right out of it. He didn't even have to research that. And besides, these dudes aren't doing it anyway. They have production assistants. They have people helping them. That's why this is all the more sad to me. I have no power. I can't punish these dudes for not doing a good job. But you can. You can choose who you watch. You can choose who you trust and who you support. So, on the whole, again, I respect Joel Klatt. I respect the work, and that's why I expect better than this. But we're not done. Too many, and I'm not even touching on the majority of people out there, okay? And I want to be clear about this too. Just because you're on YouTube doesn't mean you're exempt from this in any way. There are plenty of people who have made the move from YouTuber, YouTube entrepreneur, to corporate legacy media, and they've fallen right in the same trap. So just because they're showing up on your computer box on your phone doesn't mean they're exempt from this. Hold the people who cover your teams accountable. That's what I'm getting at. If they're not providing stuff of value, go find somebody else. And if you're choosing to pay for any of these services, I certainly hope that you're getting your money's worth. Because, again, this is one of the hottest topics in all of sport and entertainment. The college football playoff, college football in general. The people who come to you and say, I am bringing you news about these teams, let's hold them accountable. This is a little bit of a media regulatory coming to Jesus, if you will. Because come on, man. You have the power and the mechanism behind you to deliver quality content for college football fans. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. The next person I want to talk about is Greg McElroy. Now, McElroy, he's a pro. I respect his opinion. He also still has crimson-colored glasses. And in some scenarios, that's more fair and okay than in others. So if you're showing up on national TV or in a national publication, then you shouldn't have any of that. You need to call it like you see it. And for the most part, I think Greg does. When he's doing other smaller things or personal interviews on smaller levels, then, the tendencies and the histories might show up a little bit more. That's okay. I'm not going to hold that against you because it depends on who you're talking to. Right? You want to meet your audience where they are. But here's the thing about Greg. He stepped up recently in an SI article and he says, this defense, now I don't want to go too far and say that it's the 2021 reincarnated. I'm not sure we will ever see a group quite like that. Ever see a group quite like that. But this group does have some of the 2022 vibes a little bit. Some guys that may be a little under the radar, but are probably a lot better than you realize. This group is long, they're deep, and they have an elite interior game-wrecking presence that can make everything else work around you. Of the ones I've talked about tonight, Greg is on the beam here. He did not say Georgia can't rush the passer. That would have been an extremely lazy take. He did not come out and say the Dogs once again were decimated, at middle linebacker through the draft, and they didn't get anybody out of the portal, and the guy that they did get, he's hurt, and Georgia's still not going to meet the measure on defense to Georgia standards. He didn't say that. So Greg here, on a national platform, came out and said something that you've heard me say. I am very excited about this team. I'm very excited about what this defense can do. Because this comes back to the depth part. They have recruited very well on the defensive side of the football. And in 2026, we're going to really see the fruit of all that labor. If you look at the middle linebacker room by itself, you've got two players that were the number one middle linebacker in the country in their class. And all four that are in the top tier of who's going to play this year for Georgia at the middle linebacker position were five-star players. The defensive line, you've got Elijah Griffin, five-star player, All-American last year as a freshman. You've got a deep group along the defensive front that was really good against the run last year. You've got returning edge players that are going to get better in the pass rush game because of everything else I just told you. And then if you look at the back end, you've got another two All-Americans back there and a bunch of bodies that are very talented, and the coaching staff just has to put together the pieces to figure out the best combination. This Georgia defense can be really, really good. And if Greg's right, if I'm right, then Georgia is going to be damn hard to handle in the fall. This is more like what it's supposed to be. Don't come at me lazy. Georgia can't get after the passer. That's why, whatever. I've got them 8th. Man, you didn't do any work. I don't need to hear another word. Click, turning that off. Because clearly, I know more about this team than you do. And you say, well, Randy, that's your focus. You cover Georgia. Damn right. And I do my dead level best to do a good job of it. The people that I bring on this show to have them talk to you about Georgia, those are people that I trust, that I know care about it the way I do, that aren't coming to the table with this. Not Greg, but the lazy takes from earlier. I respect you guys too much for that. I respect the game too much for that. And I know that these guys can be better than what they're offering up for the majority of these talking heads out there. So Greg, kudos to you. He did a good job here. Football is still football. Injuries, Amaris Williams, clearly, these things happen. But even with that, Greg did a good job of setting the table here with this take. So this is talking season. It's getting cranked up. Here we go. It's coming down the pike. Everybody wants to tell us what they think about the contenders in college football, the guys that are out there who have a shot to win the national championship. They want to tell us everything they can tell us about their take on Gunnar Stockton and how he can't get it done or how he will overcome and get it done, whatever it is. We are headed that way. If you think it's loud now, if you think it's confusing now, just give it 2 or 3 weeks. It's about to get like faster and more like crazy than you can keep up with. You're going to have guys who, and this happens every year, you're going to have people who come out and make statements who the individual will make one statement and then a month later make another statement that seems to directly contradict the first statement. It's okay. It's talking season. There's a lot of words being thrown around. But that's why it's incumbent on you and me and the real college football fans out here to do our own work. If you want to know about the team, go to people you know deliver value for you and talk about your team in a way that is not surface level, dust on the shelf kind of takes on your team. That's not what it is. You know who that is. Be discerning in your viewership. Be stingy with your time. And if guys don't deliver for you, turn them off and don't waste your time. Go find somebody else. They're going to want to tell us about that defense led by Raylan Wilson, right? They're going to want to tell us that they are out there handling business or that they're not gonna because they can't rush the passer. They're going to let us know that Gabe Harris, yeah, he kind of came on at the end of last year, but the course of the season, it didn't work right. He didn't, show up. And then when he did show up, he was hurt. You know what I mean? Facts, but at the same time, not at all an in-depth take. Not at all a different perspective on the game that we all love so much. So everybody has an opinion about Kirby and the boys. They are going to tell us about it, and it's up to us. Don't let yourself get caught on the hamster wheel of rage bait. Because people, if you put Georgia at 5 or 8 or something like that in a preseason ranking, man, we're going to get clicks and shares, and we're going to get people screaming at the camera. I mean, if that's the life you want to lead, go for it. But this is not a college football bro zone. That's not what we do here. We want to talk about real football, things that actually happen and matter. The stuff that actually determines the trajectory for your favorite team or mine, the Georgia Bulldogs. So when you're out there and you're giving people your time, when you're giving people your interest, I'm just pounding the table for you and saying, make them earn it. Make them deliver for you. Make them give you something that's not something you already know. And if they can't do that, then I would encourage you to go find somebody who will. And if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan and you're looking for a home, we got plenty of room. Ask around. I think you'll like it over here. Talking season's on the way. The Georgia Bulldogs are going to be on the tip of everybody's tongue as we move toward the season. Kirby and Gunner and Raylan and Elijah and all the boys have something to prove. But you wouldn't know that based on the anonymous takes or the surface level analysis that you're getting from some of these national media. They are better than that. They have zero excuses for not providing you, the consumer, the college football fan, with a better product. I have been inside the machine, a global entity, and I am telling you that they can and that they should do better. If they don't, find yourself another channel, find yourself another analyst, and make sure that if you're giving up your time to watch or listen to anybody's take on college football about your team, the team you care so much about that you live and die with every Saturday, make sure that they are delivering something for you that you can carry with you into the fall and makes you a better college football fan. Go Dogs!
Told them, how about them fucking dogs? That's what I told them.